And on a Sunday, my ticket is a one-way. I'm about to play in the sky. I always knew you'd make it one day. Today was such a fun day. And I think I'm impressed. I got out, free fly, just the sky and the love.
Yeah. Welcome back to WazzyCircus Radio, a show where I sit down with the most amazing people that I've met in over a decade of professional skydiving. My guest today is a 21-year veteran of the sport, 7,500 plus skydives, AFF instructor, tandem instructor, videographer. He shoots commercials locally. He's like wind chimes. He's a mentor at my flight night events that I host at I Fly Austin. You guys should come check me out. It's every other Thursday if you can. I'm gonna get flooded now. Texas 20-way gold medalist, super rad, self-proclaimed shepherd, my friend Sam King.
What up, Waz? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm killing it, dog. How are you, Savvy?
I'm doing good.
All right.
Traffic was a little crazy getting here, but you know.
Yeah, from Georgetown.
North of Georgetown.
North of Georgetown.
The great hinterlands.
Hinterlands. What does that mean?
I don't know.
All right.
Sounded cool.
Sweet. Yeah. What do you? So you got a pretty amazing house on how much land?
Yeah, we sit on about 15 acres up north of Georgetown.
Sweet. And how many animals?
Right now we're sitting at 3 dogs, 2 cats, and about 45 sheep.
So you're like a fucking shepherd.
Yeah, you know, it keeps me busy.
Yeah.
Out of trouble.
So you like shearing and?
No, these are meat sheep. So most of the time we're mostly patching fences, raising lambs, making sure the grass is growing.
So it's a working farm? Are you selling these animals?
We sell them locally. Yeah, we don't really do any big production.
Okay.
We grow them all organic, so they're grass-fed, you know, no antibiotics, no medications, all the old school way.
How did you get into shepherding?
Kind of by luck and by accident. We were looking for a place outside of Austin, so we came across this property, and the sheep were already there. It's part of the deal, so we kind of like, well, only one way to learn, right? Just like skydiving, just open the door and dive in.
I remember I came to your house. I went down that long driveway, and I was like, "What the fuck, son?" It was like a zoo over there.
It's not what most people imagine when they see me.
Yeah, no, not at all. That's not what I thought I was coming to at all. And then your cats run the house.
Pretty much, yeah. We got a greyhound, a whippet, and an Italian greyhound, so some of the fastest dogs you can own, and then 2 cats that control all of them.
You control everything.
Yeah,
I remember that.
They're
the cats
running the
ran
house.
shit.
Yeah.
So, you offered to teach my boys how to prepare. What do you say? Kill it, slay?
Harvest. Harvest is a good word.
It's a beautiful word. Harvest a lamb, and we could take it home. And one of them, you saw it. One of them was like, "Let's go.
Let's do this."
The other one was like, "Oh my god."
It's that whole uncomfortable cycle of life conversation. You know, at some point, we need to realize where our food actually comes from.
You gotta realize
what it takes to get it.
Yeah, it's not a plastic wrap thing, man.
Right.
It was an animal.
Right. At one point, that was a life, and then we're gonna use it to forward our life.
And I think it's going to give them the opportunity to make their own decision on what they're going to eat and why they eat it.
Right.
Not just something they've heard. They're going to experience it. Well, I mean, I can't wait.
And it's up to everybody to make their own decision on whether they're going to eat meat or not. But if you do make that decision, it's best to know the whole cycle, where they come from, what happens, how it ends up on your plate.
Right. So do you eat mostly your own game, or you guys still go to a H-E-B? H-E-B is a Texas grocery store.
Right. A little local shout out to the H-E-B.
H-E-B.
We eat a reduced meat diet. So my wife's into, mostly vegetables and stuff like that. So the meat we do eat is usually some store-bought, some of our own lamb, right? After you've been raising these things for 5 years, it gets a little more difficult to harvest them yourself.
Oh, really? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
After we've raised orphans in the house and had them around with our dogs and bottle feeding them, and you start to get over attached to your flock, so to speak.
Well, it's your flock. So you sell them?
Mm-hmm. Normally we sell them live on the hoof. So people will come out and then they'll...
On the hoof?
Yeah.
What's
that's
that
a good word for it. Alive.
Fuck. Because I guess if they're on their back, their motherfuckers ain't alive anymore.
Not breathing anymore.
On the hoof, son.
Yeah, that people then they take them home and they follow whatever their process is, and it's easier on us.
Way easier.
Yeah.
So you don't have any partnerships with any local butchers or anything?
Unfortunately, no. We don't really raise enough to keep a constant, steady supply to a restaurant or a supplier like that. So we've been doing it more on the side. When we need to get rid of some, people show up. They buy what they need for quinceañeras or birthdays or Christmas. Tamale season's coming up, so we'll be probably selling a lot.
It's food, son. That's a wild way to look at animals, man.
The goats and sheep are the most eaten red meat on the planet. It's one of the facts that a lot of people miss. Beef's not the number one animal that we eat. It's goats and sheep. And environmentally, they're more friendly. They use less resources to become an edible animal. They're easier on the land. Mine aren't living in feedlot conditions.
No,
they
not
live
at
in
all.
a field just like they would if they were out in the wild.
Do people ever purchase pets?
No, we never had anybody buy them for pets.
Okay.
Yeah, they get a little too big and rambunctious when they're full grown, so they wouldn't really make a good city pet.
Right on. So, do you harvest them when they're fully grown? Is that what the deal is? Or
No,
is
because we raise them all naturally on grass, it takes a little bit longer for them to get up to what people would call market size.
Mhm.
So normally a lamb would go to market about 9 months. Right, and in our situation, they're usually closer to a year or more old before they're ready to be harvested, in size and maturity. And that, unfortunately, it's that much more time to get attached to them while they're hanging around, riding out in the field.
Yeah, just jumping around and playing and
Mhm.
shit. You're like,
Looking
oh.
all cute and innocent over there.
So, I read, what book was that? Dang it. I'm sorry. I can't pull it up right now, but it talks about the screaming.
Oh, Silence of the Lambs.
There wasn't Silence of the Lambs though, was it? It probably was at the beginning, huh? Before the whole Hannibal thing, it was like a prologue or something, where they sound like kids. They call them kids.
Well, that's goats.
Goats.
Mhm.
Okay, sheep don't sound like that. They just bleat.
Yeah, they sound a little less like children. Most of the time at our place, if you hear them screaming, it's because they're all out there playing. Right. The only time we really get any of that wild, crazy, kind of eerie screaming is when we sell kids, and then the mamas are out there like going through their separation, or it's usually a couple of days. Yeah, and even after a year, there's still some separation there. You think, most people think feed animals that they have kids and they never see them again, kind of thing. But there's always a bond there. Kind of odd.
So you could tell that it's depressed.
I wouldn't say depressed, but looking for them for sure.
For sure.
Like there's something missing, there's something not right, and then a couple days go by and they get over it and move on.
Holy shit. That's intense. That's why you can't harvest yourself.
It's a cycle of life, man. It's vicious, and devour to survive. That's kind of the theme of this universe we live in.
Devoured, I guess so. It's true.
Whether you're eating plants or animals, you're eating something.
Hey, that was awesome. You said it was something new to learn, so here we go. You just took it on. I guess you had to. You had them. What else are you going to do?
Right. We wanted the agricultural exemption for the property.
Sweet.
And I needed something to help fill my time. And, the place is beautiful. It's where we want to live. Beautiful. How we want to live. So sometimes you got to.
It changed my perspective. Ever since I left your house, I was like, I don't want a big-ass house. I want a lot of land. I've been telling her ever since, like, yo, I want goats. I don't know why I have goats in my head. I'd rather have sheep too, probably, right?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got their preference. Some people don't like sheep. Some people don't like goats. The screaming part really gets to me. Like you said, that they call them kids for a reason.
Yeah, they sound like kids. I've heard them. It's nuts.
A little disturbing.
But the sheep. Yeah, I couldn't imagine being out there like, wow, man. Like, what the hell is that?
Right.
So, 21 years ago, what convinced you to do your first tandem?
I guess the story starts was I was visiting my dad, and he takes us into the living room of the house he was living in at the time, and he's like, "Y'all got to see this. I got something I got to show you."
And
we're like, "Oh man, I don't know what he's got." So he whips out a VHS tape. That's how long it was ago. Walks over to the VCR, plugs in the VCR, and hits play and sits down. And then these weird old school skydiving videos start coming up, and we're like, "Okay, that's kind of cool. It's kind of a skydiving movie or something like that."
Right.
And then the video pans across this old intro, and I see this thing next to the door that says Skydive Temple. And the first thing that went through my mind was, fuck, Dad joined a cult.
Temple. Where were you living at the time?
I was living with my great aunt up in the hill country at the time.
Okay, out in Austin.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah, Dad started skydiving, and I was probably 14, 15 at the time. So it was a couple years before.
So your pops is a jumper.
Yeah, Dad's got about 900 jumps or something like that.
Right on.
So then after I turned 18, I'd moved back up to the Austin area. He hit me up one day and was like, hey, let's go on out and do this. So I remember it was, wasn't Mike Mullen's King Aire. No, they had a Queen Aire or something like that, old school jump plane twin prop.
Uh-huh.
And I remember pinning my tandem master to the roof of the plane because I was standing up in the back. Just had that poor son bit squished to the ceiling.
Right.
And I can hear him in my ear going, duck down, duck down.
Let's go.
So we waddle over to the door, and I remember hearing him say, put your feet over the edge of the door. And I remember, like, all I could focus on was just getting my toes out the edge of that door, and then ready, set.
God.
My life was never the same.
Never the same.
And I landed, we had video, and then the video guy walks up to me afterwards, and he goes, what'd you think? And all I could manage to stutter out was, I'll do that again.
I'll do that. Yeah, man. My favorite part of skydive is where people say, like, as a tandem instructor, you disconnect, you turn around, and you say, what do you think?
Right.
Right? And they were like, the best thing I've ever heard was, golly.
Watch them try to stuff 9,000 words out of their mouth at the same time.
Yeah. And it's also always awesome to ask them, explain what that felt like.
Right.
And they're like, man, you can't. There's no words invented.
Can't even get close.
There's nothing, right?
Especially your first one.
You only get one first, man. Get the video, son. You only get one
Pay
first.
for the video.
Pay for the video. How would you explain it? I don't know how to explain it. It's like preaching Jesus to people, like, yo, it's going to benefit your life. Let's do this shit, you know?
There's really not any words to describe what we experience when we leave an airplane. You can try to describe what you see visually, and you can try to describe what you feel from a sensation standpoint, or the wind against your body, or you can try to describe the sound and the way that the wind changes pitch as you go through the skydive, or you can try to describe the smell of what the air smells like at 14,000 feet when there's nothing around you, but there's no way to accurately describe the combination of all of those things simultaneously. And I think that's the crux of our descriptive issue is there's too many things happening simultaneously that we don't have words for.
Man, that was a beautiful description, dude. It's an overwhelming experience.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. If you've never had sensory overload, it's the greatest example of giving your brain so much input, all it can do is shut down and go, nope. Not today, buddy. I'll check back in about 30 seconds.
And then I'll see the camera.
Do what you got to do.
My life's in your hands.
Right.
People try that in the tunnel. You're like, no, wake up, son. This is not a game.
There's not a tandem master back there.
I do not have you. You need to straighten your legs.
You are not the king of the world.
I am the king of the world. That's my favorite fucking team video, dude. He's like, yeah, whatever. Right. I am the king of the world. You guys got to see that video. King of the world, jointheteam.com. It's on there, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you haven't seen that video? Oh, dude. Oh, my God. I wonder if we could find that video. I've got it on my Instagram. You guys can find it on the Instagram. So it's this Asian dude doing a tandem, right? Hand cam, right? Great jump, whatever. The canopy opens, and he's blown the fuck away. And he's like, I'm the king of the world. And it's like a revelation to him. Like, it's like, I can do anything, right? I'm the king of the world. And the instructor's like, yeah, man, high five. He's like, yeah. I'm the king of the world. And like, they pause it and put a crown on him and shit. And this is king of the world. He's like, dude, it's the best video. You guys got to see that video.
That's that moment in time where all your doubts and fears have been eliminated through sheer just force of the moment. And then what pops out is I can do anything.
Force of the moment. The force of the moment. The force of the moment. The force of that moment when you let go.
Right.
Force is a weird word to put to that, but that's what it is, because it is a force.
Yeah, it's like getting hit by a wave or or something similar, because
Yes, a wave.
try to deny it like it didn't happen, but at the same time you got knocked back, right? Straight
Yeah.
out of your socks.
Yeah, man. And the build-up on the way up, all the emotions, all the doubt, all the terror, all the fear, all the regrets, all the rude things you said.
Right.
Very introspective ride up on the plane.
Oh yeah.
Every time. Even for me now. Every time. You know what I mean? It's like, I could have done that better, man. If this is it, you've got to accept it. If this is it, have I been doing this shit right?
It's like your own little what's the word? Little box you go in to admit your sins.
Your own confessions to yourself
to
and
the
your
universe,
God.
yeah.
Right? Because you don't want him to strike you down. Hey, something that's been on my heart lately, man. Dakota Meyer was on, and he said, when you look at a tombstone, there's like the year you were born and the year you die.
Right.
And in between, there's a dash. He's like, man, I'm going to own that dash.
Right.
Own the dash.
The whole sum of your life in one little chip there.
Yeah. But the dash is what's important, not the day, you know? So, like, that's the name of his podcast. Check it out. Super badass. But it stays on me. The other day, we were doing the 22 ways. Well, 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Skydive Spaceland San Marcos. Still weird to say. I'm glad it happened. Trust me. Thomas Hughes. Shout out Thomas Hughes. That was a great event.
Place. Yeah.
Great event, but it's still weird to say. But it was freezing cold. I had to be there at 7. It's an hour and a half drive. I was off a tunnel comp in Houston where my kids got to compete in freestyle. Big week, lots of stuff going on. I was like, man, I am tired. I don't want to be cold, but I'm going to own the fucking dash.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've got to push. And man, I showed up and you guys were there, and all, 21 of my friends that I've known for how long, you know, and it was just, dude, and it was warmer up top because of inversion, right? Then, I mean, it was the perfect day to go skydiving.
Yeah, once it cleared, it turned out absolutely gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
It's, as a Texas jumper, we get spoiled because here it is December and it's just now getting cold on us.
Yeah, and I'm complaining about 50 guys. I'm complaining about 45, 40.
It was like 37 that morning.
Yeah,
but
by
the time we got up in the air, 40s, let's call it.
Yeah, man, I'm
Amongst
soft.
Friends, it was 32.
Yeah, and you were sitting by the door.
Yeah, I was sitting by the door. I had to cling on the outside of the airplane too. It was a little bit chilly. That's why I went in the office like, y'all have any insulated gloves? I'm a Texas jumper. I forget to buy these things until the absolute last moment.
The last second.
So if y'all had any of those, no, sorry, sir.
So did you get some rubber gloves from was it who was
Weldon
handling
was hooking us
Weldon.
up with the rubber gloves.
Yeah, thanks, Weldon, man.
Shout out.
So if you guys don't know and it's cold and you're jumping, you don't know, put some rubber gloves, like some surgical gloves on underneath your skydive gloves, and it's beautiful. Even for snowboarding, it's beautiful.
It's phenomenal, but
phenomenal.
get ready to sweat.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe not for snowboarding. That's just so it just so happens that Doug Jacques was on last week. He's a 70-year-old tandem instructor, travels the world, competes around the world still, very active dude. And we dedicated that show to George Herbert Walker Bush. And then the next day we drive to Houston, or that night, I don't know, like the next day we drove to Houston, and then we passed his motorcade, on the way down there, right? That was special. And then everything happened, and then I show up at the drop zone on Sunday for the big ways, and like we're honoring George Bush with this 41 way for his 41st presidency. I was like, man, this is a George Bush fucking week, son. But badass Navy pilot, and he loves skydiving. I love skydiving. He touched my heart with his skydiving. And I heard one of his last statements was, I wish I could have got out of that plane one more time.
Right.
That
was the one thing, if you look around that group of people that was on that jump, there were all different political persuasions, different ranges of, socioeconomic classes, whatever you want to call it. But
engineers, attorneys, I don't know what Jet Boy does, but wealthy people. Yeah, but it didn't matter.
We were there to celebrate a skydiver, a dude that, think about your first jump is people shot up your plane and it's on fire and you got to jump out in enemy territory. That's skydive number 1. Like
hey, you guys freak out getting in the tunnel, son.
Right. That takes a different level of commitment. It's like ocean and sharks or flames and
death, man.
And then to go back and do it again you know, as a recreational thing, that takes a big pair, in my opinion.
But then over and over again.
Right.
I mean, because you love it. When you fall in love with it, you fall in love with it.
I'm sure if he hadn't have been presidential and stuff after that first jump of 75, he'd been one of those dudes that every weekend he'd have been out there hucking it to the wind.
And it sounds like he was
do
so
this.
cool. He'd have been grilling up too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, come on over here. Let's hang out. He sounded like a cool dude to hang out with, man. I think we have video of the 41-way event we just did. Super sweet jumps, man. Man, big waves are a different beast. Big waves, belly wave, whatever, man. It's so I'm in love with the 2-way with my boy Sergio or Dusty Shaw or fucking Steve Downey. You know, any of those Mudbug, any of you from Eric Michael, any of you high level flyers out here in Texas that I'm around, where I can just get out and stop thinking. My body disappears. I'm just carving. We're moving around. It's fun. It's zero responsibility other than your body, but I'm so confident in it that it's an out-of-body experience. It's the greatest fucking feeling, man. I swear. Big waves are going to work. You're clocking in. You've got a fucking mission to do from the second you get on. It's intense. The dirt dives, you don't want to fuck this up. You don't want to be the one out. You want to be the one low, right? I blasted by on this jump, son, with the smoke. Y'all will see me, man. I was coming in hot. I was like, I'm going to beat everybody. I was like, oh, no, boom. I tried to slow down. Went right by.
I'm going to beat him to pull time.
Hey, dude looked at me. He's like, you're supposed to be on my right. I was like, I know I'm supposed to be on your right.
Give me a second.
Cameraman was like, you're putting smoke in my face. I was like, I'm sorry, man. But, like, it's intense. You got to get your slot. You got to fly your slot. You can't dock and relax. You got to hold your position. You'll mess the entire thing up. The track off the breakaway, there's 22 people with you on that breakaway.
Right.
It's not like on the plane that day and there's some tandems in this group and that group. It's one fucking group of people.
All in the same tunnel of air at that point.
Oh, yeah. And I'm used to getting down first because I'm on the velo and by myself and I get to swoop and kick. Man, I'm in the middle of traffic now hauling ass. Right, it's an intense thing, and then after you land, there's people fucking everywhere coming out of the sky. So you're not done till you're in the pack room with your shit on the floor.
Right.
Then the jump's done.
Right, then you finally take a breath and exhale and try to calculate what just happened.
And then you look around like, did it work? Did we build it?
Did it build? Get that on video?
Did we get that? Yeah. So let's watch that video, man. So shout out Mark Farr, Scott Latness, friends of the show.
Great men.
There's a crawl out. Man, crawling out of that otter is beautiful. So this is the video that was played on Fox News. That was me right there getting ready. Bomb the door. Just pouring out. That's me in the red and white with the Micron. Shout out Vector.
Go.
Boom, boom, boom. Get out the door, son. George Neeson in the green and yellow. So there's the chunk. And we're all diving down, setting up the cats. So we're building the 41. All right, it's going to be choppy. The internet's not the greatest here, but yo, you guys, so this is slot specific. It's a lot of people. People are coming in hot. It's easy to go low. It's easy. There I go, right by the formation with the smoke on. Oh, I'm not in the right spot.
Like I have this high visibility thing. Let me
yeah, everybody watch me. So that's me with the smoke just tearing up my Converse, man, but that's fine. Yeah.
It's a Wazzy original print on that Converse.
Yeah, man. I'm never getting rid of those shoes now. That was for 41s. Yeah. So this is the end of the weekend.
Coming together.
There it is, man. So like we saw his motorcade go by. Dedicated show to him. There he is, Mr. Bush. Thank you, sir. Thank you for bringing it on. There's the breakaway, baby, and those boys in the middle trying to rip it up.
Trying to get a couple extra points.
Yeah. That's Wooly, Latness, Mark Farr. Who else was in that?
I think David Bowen was in there.
Yeah. Man, what a fucking day. That's me on the left with booties and grippers, son. Booties and grippers, son.
I think I've only seen it twice.
I only want to hang out with you guys.
Right.
That's the only time I wear that shit, baby. Hey, you ain't too cool to belly fly. You might not be cool enough. I'm going to try to tell you the truth. You go try 4-way, baby. Now, 22, get the fuck out of here.
Well, that's the thing about big waves. It's much more a team environment. The individual part has to drop away, and you become a bigger part, or you become part of a bigger organism at that point. So it's not just about the I anymore. It's not, the ego has to go away in order to make stuff like this work. Because even people with a lot of skydives in that situation, you got a lot of pressure, like you said, tense, difficult maneuvers, and you got to just take a deep breath and remember, I'm playing for a team here. We're doing this as a group.
Right.
We're trying to make this as a goal together, not just what they say. The hero moves are the ones that they'll like, yeah, that was a great move. Don't do that again.
Don't do that again, or you're not invited back, because these are invites only. You can't just walk over to DZ. This one was, the last couple I've been on were, how do you get together 22 people? I mean, that's tough. And you guys, when you get out of the plane, it's a sea of fucking people in black jumpsuits. What the fuck?
Right. Everybody want to make it that much more difficult. Everybody dressed like a ninja. That way we can't tell who's who.
We can't see. So you're like, I'm over there. I don't know where the fuck I'm going. Hey, I remember my first couple big waves with you guys, and it was just like, you get out of that plane, it's like, boom, whoa.
Right.
There's traffic now.
Like that photo behind you there.
Yeah, that was a couple years ago.
on a formation load, and
dude, those jumps were magic
40
too.
people in the sky all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome, man. That was Skydive Lonestar. Shout out. Yeah, that's the King Aire. That's the Otter from somewhere.
I don't remember.
Skydive Midwest, probably. Shout out Keith. Even not, shout out Keith. All right, so largest skydives are 78 way.
Yep, 78 way. It only took me 20 years to get there.
Yeah, it's easy. It's fucking simple. I'm gonna go do that shit tomorrow.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to get an invite to the Arizona Challenge this year. Go out to Skydive Arizona and see what the real big boys are doing out there. Talk about intimidating, man. You walk out onto, that's like walking out onto the home field of the Dallas Cowboys or something. You're like, whoa.
Right.
I think I might have stepped out of my league here.
Right. Really. Just talent.
It's as the first time. Yeah. You see so many people with so many thousands of jumps and world records and gold medals, and they're regular people just like everybody else, but still the intimidation factor is kind of high.
Yeah.
For a nobody from Texas like me.
So on the 78 way, you definitely break in waves. Were they using alternate landing areas for that?
Skydive Arizona has a pretty big multiple landing areas to begin with, so it really wasn't that big a deal. Where you came into the pattern kind of determined where you were gonna land. So
that's not bad at all.
With that many people, by the time you tracked from 5,500 or 5,000 feet down to $3,000, like, you've moved a long distance.
Right.
And usually, most of the time, I was finding myself out in the desert, kind of by myself. So,
like, all right, I'm alone now.
I'm just gonna find a spot in between these trees.
Doesn't seem to be anyone around.
Land and start walking back.
Yeah. Yo, so that's how they get those two out. They have you track from 5.5 to 3. Get the fuck out of here, because you got to make that space.
Yeah, if you're on the outside edge, you definitely, if there's two waves coming out behind you, you're definitely gonna want to cover some ground on the way. As flat and as long as possible.
Yeah.
So that the guys behind you don't catch up.
Right on. So let's watch a video.
So this is Craig O'Brien's awesome videography here. I got to be lucky enough to be on his plane. I'm on front float on this plane. So
right on.
You see me, the back of my head up there.
Shout out Skydive Arizona. If you guys haven't been to Eloy, it is Disneyland for skydivers. It's spectacular. They've got the airlift. They got a tunnel on site. Restaurant and bar called the Bent Prop, baby. Love the bent prop set. I've stumbled out of the bent prop many a time to walk to the tunnel at 2 a.m. to watch airspeed train. Like, holy shit, what a magic place. Look at that plane formation. 78. What was that, 4 planes?
Yeah, 4 planes.
Skyvan in the middle. There's a chunk. Beautiful, man.
You see just a swarm
sea of people.
Everybody's stacking up that stadium, getting on their radials, coming in.
Yep, coming in. So you got to get, so listen, when doing these, it's easy to blast by. Your boy did it. If I did it on this jump, I'd have been cut. You know what I'm saying? Because I would have ran into 20 feet people.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of room to play.
No, you don't. You gotta stop above, slow down, then step down slowly to your slot, come in on level, wait till the person in front of you takes a grip, then you take your grips.
Right.
So if you get there early, there's no real benefit.
So you can see me in the bottom left-hand corner there in black and green jumpsuit. I'm at the formation for a good, 10 seconds, 15 seconds before my
see with
slot
white gloves
even becomes available.
Right.
So you just got to show up, wait till everything that's supposed to builds around you.
Look at that.
Have patience, and then get on when it's your turn.
See, they're trying to close it. It's not easy. People flying chunks. Wow, look at that. Time to go. Track. So this is the first wave out.
And then
so
the second wave.
This is what we mean by tracking. You got to track or die. You got to get out of there.
And look at the number of canopies here when Craig opens up. It's just a waterfall of parachutes everywhere.
Those are all your friends, man. You're all sharing a sacred space, man, for a minute of your life.
You know,
Right.
after this one, I got to thinking it's a lot like what they call it, ordeal dances, right? So back in the day, people used to get together and do really crazy ordeals, let's call it, for no other reason than to just for dance for the gods, right? And that's kind of how I look at this big way stuff. Is it's ephemeral. It lasts for 2.5 to 5 seconds,
Right.
but it took years of dedication and work and commitment to make it happen on the part of 70 different people, and the energy that surrounds that and the power that goes along with it. Like you fly up to that thing and dock on it, and it's like you're sucking electricity off a lightning bolt. You got all of those people focused as tight as they can be focused, all on the exact same thing, all at the exact same time, all with the exact same goal, and then it creates this I don't know, unique situation, let's call it.
No, a powerful field,
Right.
let's call it.
Yeah. Just a massive grouping of human potential.
Focused and accomplishing. So that's the thing about big ways guys and belly jumps. I know y'all want to free fly and try to touch hands and you never get together. Yo, these big ways work. And
Right.
that's the weird thing. Like when Mark Farr puts something together, he's like, stand there, grip this, go there. You're like, this, what the hell is he talking about? And you get in the sky and everybody's focused, like laser focused. We fly our slots, whether you understand what's going on and you see the video, you're like, oh, that was dope.
Right.
I didn't know we built that. You know what I mean? The dirt diving didn't look like that.
Yeah, that's what separates the organizers from the jumpers, is that vision that, all right, we'll put these dudes here and these dudes here, and then we'll spin all of it, and then it'll come back into this new thing. And that's the next level shit right there.
But there's something to be said about all those people so focused on a common goal, working together selflessly.
Right.
Has nothing to do with you. You get your dock, you disappear in the
Right.
formation. It has nothing. There's nothing you can do other than something stupid
Right.
to have yourself stand out. So it has nothing to do with you. Ego needs to be gone. This is a group function. And then the safety and awareness of your friends and the love you have for these people and the joy, especially when you think it built, whether it did or not. You look across like, this shit built.
Even the ones that aren't successful are still a crap load of fun.
Definitely.
But, I've landed from skydives that weren't successful, and we got everything we wanted to do, but everybody's got an ear-to-ear grin. Everybody's slapping the high fives. Everybody's talking it up when we get in. Did you see that? That was amazing. I've never done that before. It's
Right.
the next level of fun.
Yeah. Go buy your beer. That was your first. You never done that, huh?
Quit landing in the water.
So, no speed limit event. It's a Scott Latness event.
Right, Latness, and then I think him and Tom Jenkins started it years back down
Okay.
at Skydive Spaceland Houston. So many of them.
Shout out Spaceland.
Right, it's one of my favorite events. It was my first formation events. My first 40-way events were all with Latness and Mark Farr and all those guys down at Spaceland Houston, and that's where I kind of got to cut my teeth on this big way stuff.
Right on.
It's weird coming from so many years of skydiving and then picking up not anything that's new, but a new level of something that you really love. I never really considered myself a belly flyer, even as a tandem master or doing AFF and video. I was always just a free flyer who was working for jumps.
Yeah, me too, buddy.
And then after I decided to retire from tandems, I was lucky enough, Mark Farr and John Farrington, those guys were like, hey, man, why don't you come do some belly flying with us? And I'm like, you know what? These are cool guys. Maybe it's not free flying. I'll go try it. We'll see. We'll just go have some fun. And it turned out to be a new facet, a spectacular new facet of skydiving for me, that it's helped me grow as a person. It's challenged me, gave me new goals. It's really pushed me forward.
Yeah, man.
And now I want to get my 100-way, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's chasing that 100-way.
Yeah.
And then see where it goes from there.
So your first tandem was at Temple?
Yeah, my first tandem was at Skydive Temple in 1997.
97. And then you moved to Skydive Texas in Lexington.
Right. My dad moved out to Lexington, just happened to move out there into the area, and then we realized that the drop zone was there, and then we started going over there. He started jumping there, and then when I got ready to learn, we went out there and did AFF. And
Right on. Cindy owned it then.
Yep, Cindy Gibson was the owner.
Shout out. Love you, mama.
Right. She's spawned a lot of good skydivers.
Lots of good skydivers. People want to talk a lot of shit, but man, the talent is out there.
Right.
A lot of talent has come out of Skydive Lexington.
A lot of people owe her.
Hey man, dude, I've seen something in this sport that is fascinating to me. IAD students, instructor-assisted deployment students that learn in Cessnas, are the ones that have the longevity.
Yeah.
And they're the swoopers, and they're the badasses, the ones that started at these little places. The people, no, not knocking anything. I love you guys, but a lot of people that buy like the jump package, they started
turban babies.
Yeah, turban babies. You know, you got otters and shit. They jump for 3-4 years. It's fun. They've accomplished it. They're gone.
Right.
The lifers come from Cessna drop zones. If I'm wrong, correct me. Don't fucking correct me. Yeah, but
I think it's because it takes more dedication to get through the early growth of a skydiver at a Cessna drop zone than it does at a turban. It takes real grit and determination to keep showing up every day, even though you know you may only get 2 loads and it's going to be hot and stinky in the back of a 182. That grit and dedication builds long-term skydivers, and it also weeds out the people quickly who don't want to be there just because, you know.
Right, because anything, there's 1,000 excuses.
Right.
1,000 excuses can come up. Yeah. That is so true because, you know, I did 50 jumps my first year. I'd go out there Saturday morning. I wouldn't jump till Sunday night.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It was one load because the winds, the weather, the clouds. We had to come back. We just ended up staying out there.
Part of it is, in my opinion, by the time you get 100 jumps in that community, you're really embedded into the community because you've been there for months and months on end to get those first 100 jumps. And that family atmosphere, I think, helps adding to the dedication and the commitment. And people are coming back to see their friends a little bit as much as they are to come back to jump. Oh,
even more maybe. Right. Even more maybe. And on contrast, Dakota Meyer, shout out, he did 22 jumps on one Tuesday, and
that's
then
crazy.
30. He's like going for 30s. Like he did 100 jumps in a week.
That's badass material right there.
That's badass material. But I told him he's missing out on some of the experience, man.
Yeah, you know, I'm sure he'll get over that and he'll get to the meat of the thing. But everybody has that wild. I gotta jump now.
Yeah.
Over and over. Yeah. Especially when you get that A license stamp.
Yeah.
Like, let's do this.
Yeah.
Why
so
is that plane still sitting there? Come on.
He got his B license in 2 weeks or some crazy shit.
That's impressive.
Yeah, you know. It does take time. And I think there's true, and I say this all the time, guys, there's true value in the fireside chats at the end of the night, man. Yeah. The sharing old raggedy ass beer. That's how the Ghetto Birds were formed, man. That builds. I mean, those are my brothers for life. We talk constantly. Shout out the Ghetto Birds, right? But that was through a struggle.
Right.
In Oklahoma, high winds and rains and tornadoes and shit while we're in the drop zone, you know?
And that's also the fact that you get to pick those guys' brains to a level that you might not get to do at a weekend passing where you saw them for 30 minutes in between the loads. You know?
Right.
And you really get down and get the old dirty stories that they don't want to tell.
Right.
Of how they almost died and what decision or what accidental thing saved them that might help you in the future.
Yep.
That they may not tell if they hadn't had 4 shots of vodka and sitting by a bonfire somewhere.
Well, that's the jewels.
Right.
That's the jewels. Right. You got to mine those jewels.
Yeah, and you shit that'll keep you alive.
Yeah, and you stumble across them. This guy like, yeah, man, this one time I didn't take the seatbelt off, hit, whatever it was. You know what I mean? Didn't connect this or that.
Yep.
Yeah, man, that's so get back to Lexington. I want to say that Cindy had fostered that atmosphere.
Oh, yeah.
And it's still alive today.
Yep.
We've talked about it on the show. One of my favorite probably my favorite drop zone. I'm not kidding. There's llamas and fucking guinea hen on the landing area. There's donkeys. The kids have a great time. There's pigs running around and shit. Man, there's a white llama that sits on the runway, and the plane the wing goes right over. Oh, shit. Okay. I don't know how I edit that shit out. Yo, it's fucking nuts. But the thing doesn't flinch.
Right.
It just keeps eating and just watches the plane go wrong. I was like, oh. At first I was freaked. Now I can't wait to see that goddamn llama.
Yeah, it's I think it's skydiving like it was a decade or two ago.
2 decades ago.
Right, when it was a little less, I hate to say materialistic or corporate, but that's what it was. There was less money involved in it. It was more about keeping the business and the family going and increasing and pushing the sport forward.
and they're all about that.
Yeah.
Yo, it's the best thing ever is when you land and your kids run up like, the llamas are mean.
That thing spit at me.
He tried to bite Jackson. I'm like, leave him alone.
You know, but
Shit,
it's
stop
just like
chasing that
you.
rooster. He's gonna get you.
You started at a small Cessna DZ in the middle of nowhere. I started in a small Cessna DZ in the middle of nowhere. Two of the guys that I started with, you know, Daniel Williams down at Skydive Spaceland, he's got 20,000 plus skydives now.
Mm-hmm.
James out at Lexington, he's kicking up over 15, who knows how many thousand skydives now.
Right.
And the three of us, we just started as friends, you know,
Right.
doing crazy shit together because we didn't know no better.
Right. Trying to touch hands in the air, man.
It's like, you know, I did my first night jump with those guys. Our very first one was a hop and pop.
Okay.
We went up to check to see if where the cloud level was, and it was high enough to get a hop and pop, but not higher. Then the next jump, we go back up, and they were both more experienced than me at the time, so that we basically just did an AFF off into the dark with two of my best friends. You know, that's the kind of stuff that's hard to repeat.
It's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, it's special moments.
Dude, I remember launching 5-way wingsuit jumps out of a 206 with my ghetto birds,
Right.
dog. Like, I would, in the suit, go rear float on the Cessna, my foot on the step hanging, and then we'd put 3 on the wing,
Right.
and then 1 dive in the door and go do a ghetto bird 5-way set on our wingsuit, just flopping around.
But, you know, if that's all you know, you don't know no better, that you're just making the impossible come true. And that's what really teaches you that, you know, impossible is nothing.
Nothing. Just a word.
Right.
And it helps you appreciate the fucking otters.
Oh, man.
And my favorite beast, the King Aire, baby. Fuck you in your door. I love that motherfucking duck. 8 minutes? I can't, dude.
Yeah, I got to do my AFF level 1 at a Mike Mullins King Aire.
Oh, that's dope. Shout out Mike. Shout out Tennessee Skydiving,
Yeah.
West Tennessee Skydiving.
I remember going through AFF course, and they're like, all right, when you get in the plane, you need to be ready to skydive.
Get out.
And, you know, I had done an observer ride in a 182 prior to that, and I was like, what are they talking about, dude? It took us like 25, 27 minutes to get
Right.
up there. Like, I'm going to have some time to, you know,
Right.
go over in my head, think about what I'm supposed to do. No,
Yeah.
you sit down in the King Aire and put your helmet on, put your goggles on. Hold
now,
on.
right now. And, you know, that's probably my infatuation with King Aire. Is the first turbine I ever jumped with Mike Mullins' plane. I just thought about that. That's why I love them so much. I have an attachment to them. Yo, the King Aire in Monterey Bay, which will be out there in February, fast to 18 grand. And I mean fast. Like, if you were not connected to your student by the time the wheels were coming up, you're behind, son.
Right.
Like on the runway, I'm like,
At the
listen,
same
when we
time.
get to the door, click. All right, you're allowed. All right, help me tighten this. You're gonna crouch down, arms crossed.
You're scooting
Dude,
backwards,
yeah.
trying not to slide to the door.
Man, if their helmets weren't on, by the time you're at 1,000 feet, the door's gonna open on you,
Wow.
and you're gonna be behind.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fast, dude. The clouds used to pass us like this in free fall. It was the greatest, but that's a long ass skydive.
Right. And
Yeah, we're
the
gonna be-
ocean over there. Check it out.
That's
And,
dope. But as a tandem instructor, man,
Whew, it's a lot of work.
so I came from a DZ with 182, where 9.5 was 12. 12.
Funny how that
we're,
works.
we're at 12,000. We got
Nobody
9.5.
knows the difference.
They don't know the fucking difference. And then got to Dallas, and we're doing 13 maybe, right? I got out to Monterey doing tandems, dog. Oh my God, we had 13,000 feet of free fall before we deployed the parachute. I was used to getting out at 13,
Right.
dumping with 8,000 feet of free fall. So my routine was, 360 left, 360 right, spin real hard, back at the camera, look at the bay, boom, pull. Yeah, that back in the day, that was it. When you get to Monterey, you're like, I'm at 12,000.
Right, do
I'm
that
at
again.
12, do it again. You're just like, oh, it's ought to be.
Yeah,
This is
that-
just a long, and on video, shitting your pants. Because you can't check you can't check
Right.
your altimeter.
It
You
feels
wait
like
for a
you've been
beep, but you don't
falling
know
for
if the
9
beep.
days.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's a month. You're like, I gotta wrote a novel up of this motherfucking dog.
Trying to look out the bottom of your goggles. Like, I think this dude's gonna kill me.
Dude, you're looking at the dude like, come on, man, we gotta be close. He's like, nah, man.
No. 9.5. We're
Oh,
9.5.
shit, no way, we're at 9.5. Yeah, that was the best, man. I miss that shit. You never know. Man, somebody was telling me that there was a guy at San Marcos, I think, that was coming out. It was Vic and Connie Vic Cruzy. Shout out Vic. He was coming out to do his last solo skydive. Medical issues, older guy. They were going to hold him on an AFF. It was his last skydive, and I was like, man, that's fucked. That sucks.
Yeah, you
I
can
don't
never do the last one.
Right, but he was like, hold on. It's beautiful. He chooses his last jump. Right? He's saying this is it.
Mm.
A lot of us are going to drive away one day thinking we'll be back next weekend, and you never make it back for whatever fucking reason. And like, I left Cali like that. I left a day or two earlier than I was going to or something. And I was like, the last jump, I didn't take it as serious as I should have because there was no way that was my last jump.
Right.
But it was.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you jump a lot. You don't take the seconds of free fall. You don't weigh them as preciously as you should because you're just packing and getting on the plane. You're gonna go more. But dude, every time you let go of that aircraft and you roll over and you look at your friends and the wind takes your body and your head down and you're fucking blasting, man, that needs to be celebrated one by one.
Yeah.
Section by section. Look at the exit. Look at I'm coming in, son. Look at the dock. Like, let's talk about that. What did that feel? But we don't do that.
Well, that's one of the things that makes skydiving improve as it ages, is because as you increase in the number of jumps and the time that you've been doing this and your skill level, you can savor more of those nano moments than you were able to when you're like, oh shit, where's my, where are my handles?
Of course.
Where's my gear working?
Right.
And that's one thing that I've training 4-way this year. We'd leave the plane and I'd look at the plane and be like, wow, this is awesome.
Right.
New stuff I'd never done before, exciting, tense moments, but you have to be able to breathe it in and realize what you're doing. Otherwise, like you said, it'll blow away and you'll never see it again.
I broke my leg on a tandem a few years ago and I did another 300-400 more, but I knew I was done. Right? I was done being the hero. So I knew I was going to stop doing tandems soon, especially when I started at iFly and I was going to San Marcos on weekends, working 5 days a week at iFly, getting beat up, then going out there. Skydiving's way easier than working in the tunnel. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, free fall is so much nicer. And like the people, I don't know, it's just way more physically demanding in the tunnel. And
it's it in tandem. You might take a hit every time, but you're only going to take one every time, as opposed to you get in the tunnel. That dude may hit you 14, 15 times.
Yeah, easy. So my last 200 tandems, easy. I stopped flying tandem and I started skydiving.
Right.
And I knew I was going to miss it. And it was such a sweet, every jump was precious. Those last few tandems, because I knew it was coming to an end.
Right.
So I'd get out, get them straight, boom, and then I'd fucking go skydiving. I'd look around at the clouds. I'd watch everything. It opened up my awareness so much. And I took advantage of those I'm very glad I did that. I took advantage of those last couple hundred jumps to like really appreciate the people. And man, I miss doing tandem a lot. It's a magic fucking thing.
It is. And you never realize how many lives you touched or changed until it's over and you start thinking back and stuff that just blew by in the busyness of the day. When you go back and reflect on it later, you're like, damn, dude, like we really had a solid connection with that person that I never met before, that I was around for 10 minutes.
Right.
30 minutes, 40 minutes.
30 tops.
But even if they don't remember my name, I'm going to be burned into their memory for the rest of their life.
And when you disconnect them, they look at you and say, golly, and they hug you, that is the most genuine. Oh, yeah. So, like, I get hugs now, but not like that.
No, there's no hug like the hug of the person whose life you just saved.
Right. Changed.
Right.
Morphed. Upgraded. Right? Like, I remember when I first started jumping, and facing that fear is like, what really got me was base jumping. Facing that fear, which is fucking to the bone chilling, and then still operating at a high level, showed me I could do any fucking thing. There's nothing like, and when I would get nervous in like corporate situations and stuff, like, oh yeah, these lawyers or these guys have more money than me. I'm like, man, if I can face a tower in the middle of the night in Oklahoma, these guys ain't shit right now. You know what I mean? It gives you a pride in yourself. Skydiving gives you a pride in yourself. That's how you asked me on the questionnaire, how did it change my life? It made me feel like a human being and not some black guy. I'd always been just some out of place fucking guy, right? And I found myself as a person in skydiving. That's how it changed my life.
I think that's a theme that you see, especially through the long-termers. Like we found ourselves in this sport, and that's one of the reasons we don't leave.
Right.
It showed us who we were. We weren't necessarily skydivers before that, but we're the type of people who become skydivers and who stay skydivers and who make new skydivers. And
Right.
It taught me the same thing, to be confident in myself, and that no matter what situation arrives, I'm going to be fine. You know, that there's never been a doubt. There's been a couple times I went, oh crap, this could be the end. But there was never a time when I said, all right, I'm going to stop fighting and let that go, you know, and just give into my fate bullshit.
Yeah, fuck that. I'll scream and I'll cuss my fucking parachute out. Motherfucker, open. Yeah. Right. How many chops you got?
Just 7.
Just 7?
Just 7.
So all sport or tandem?
Mostly tandem.
Yeah,
I have one sport rig.
Okay.
Cut away at 75 jumps where I packed myself a bag lock.
Oh, did you? Yeah. I packed a May West. I packed a fucking, I wrapped my fucking.
You know, I'm glad my first one was a bag lock, because it's one of those really easy to identify, like, oh shit, that's definitely not going to work.
Right, yeah.
And I still remember that 5-cell canopy opening over the top of me, like, all right, I don't think this was any better than the bag lock, but it probably landed a little softer.
What was it like?
It was like a 5-cell Raven.
Ravens,
Yeah,
dude. Dude, those Ravens are beasts, man.
Old school.
I got buddies that started basing on Ravens. They were great.
Yeah, it had.
I think my first jump might have been on a Raven.
I still remember looking up and seeing that the toggles were sewn to the risers and thinking, somebody's trying to kill you.
Somebody wants you to die.
Like, isn't that supposed to be Velcro? This one's sewn on.
What do you mean sewn on?
Yeah, it had like E-thread through the toggle sewn to the riser. So there was no Velcro in the attachment. That's how they were supposed to be attached. And you reached up and grabbed the toggle and then just break the E-thread and fly the parachute.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was a little bit crazy.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And on a 5-cell.
Hold on. Let's stop at that right fucking now. Let's stop at that right now. Do you guys understand what this cat just said? Listen, man. I've never heard this in my life. So they would tack the toggles to the reserved risers with some light, easy break thread. Not like, I'm sure they had their reasons. But it's not a stow like we got these days. You don't stow the toggles. They would sew them down when they repacked your shit. And when you reached up, you had to like fucking tear them.
Well, the scary part was that they didn't tell you that they were sewn down. So you look up there and you're like, whoa. Why was I paying this rigger?
So what isn't the opening force as strong as you I guess not. If the toggles are stowed, there's nothing on
and
them.
you're pulling down on the toggles.
Right, so it's stowed in the ring. It's still, the brakes are set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, however,
and then it's tacked down.
And then it's tacked down.
Wow, that's fucking crazy.
Yep. And then you pull on the toggle, and you pretty much just rotate it in place like you were on a round. So the scenery would change, but you really weren't going anywhere.
Right.
And you were going pretty much.
And that's why they use them for base canopies. Yep.
And then I made it 8 years from that point to my next cutaway. Something like 4,500 jumps between my first cutaway and my second cutaway.
Okay.
And then I had like 5 in a row. Just bang, 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 bang. Yeah, it all caught up with me all at once.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I was just like fucking over it. I was like, fucking malfunction. Tink, tink. All right. What am I having for lunch?
You ever get used to it, but you definitely get comfortable with it.
Yeah. I just used to get mad.
Right.
Like, this motherfucker. All right. I used to tell my students to look at it. Hey, man, look up.
You're only going to get to see this once.
Oh, yeah. I said on a previous show, man. Because, if they're looking down, they never see it.
Right.
Or a lot of malfunctions happen on tandems, and they never realize it.
Oh, yeah.
You chop, boom, and they're like, yeah.
We live.
Hey, so I had to stop saying, oh, shit. Right? I'm like, boom, oh, shit, man. What's wrong, man? Are we okay, man? I'm like, man, just hold on.
I think I made that mistake once, like flying a pattern, and I saw something inconsequential on the ground, and you're like, oh, shit. And then you feel the person just stiffen like a board. Like, he's not going to pick his legs up now. Should have kept my mouth shut.
That's fucking hilarious. How many tandems did you get in before you?
About 4,500.
4,500 tandems?
Yeah.
God, you did 2,000 more than me, man.
So I did 7 years. That's about all I did was tandems.
Right. Up at Mark's place at Temple?
Yeah, both. My first couple hundred were out at Lexington. And then I moved over to Skydive Temple, and I worked up there for 5-6 years.
Sweet.
Some of those years I did 997 tandems in a year.
I've had a
banging
1,000
them out.
tandem year at Skydive Dallas. It's just the way it is, man.
You don't know what skydiving is till you bang 1,000 tandems in a year. Like, whoo,
I don't know.
that'll wear on you.
I try to say, if you're not working in the sport, you don't really know what skydiving is. Like real fucking skydiving, like turning loads, dropping rigs, pack jobs. Who packed your chute? I say in the song, who packed your chute? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Some kid in there.
Some guy or that girl. I don't know who the fuck packed this shit. And you're just humping.
Right.
A malfunction happens, chop, get on the ground. Hey guys, boom. I've seen legs broke. Boom. Hey guys, sorry, I'm on the plane. It's your rotation. It's your food. You know what I mean? It's your fuel. Man, shout out to all professionals, man.
Yeah.
It's a tough grind, but I know it's all love and joy, but you know you're working sometimes. When it's 108, Austin,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? You're working,
You know, you
man.
do those 50, 60, 10 weekends, and you get home, and it looks like you've been in a fight with a rubber hose for 3 days. You
yeah,
got bruises
just bruised,
everywhere.
just bruised,
You can
thighs
barely
bruised.
move.
Yeah, man.
And your arms and shoulders are burnt from flaring and running parachutes all weekend. It's
And then I'd have to wake up Monday and edit video. 'Cause we used to take the videos home with the DVRs and edit them and mail them out. So I spend
Just sit there
all
for
day
2
Monday.
days.
Yeah, just dog. What a crazy way of life that was. It's not like that anymore. With the digital age and the
It's a little bit easier on the video guys these days, yeah.
Yeah.
Chop and edit. People are a lot more used to using digital technology, so you don't have the blank stare when you turn the camera on.
right.
Say something, dude.
Is
Is it on?
Or like, I remember we were trying to transition people to USBs. So like, I
Right.
don't know what the fuck that is. I don't know how to use that. You know, like, I need a CD, a DVD.
The one of my favorite things to do is go back and watch a bunch of my old tandem footage and watch the transition through time as people get better at interviews, because people are more used to, all right, talk to the phone, or all right, I'm gonna
Right.
do this self.
Right. It's a
self
new era,
interview.
isn't it?
Yeah. So people are more like, you shove a mic in front of their face and they like, their personality clicks on and they're like, oh yeah, hi, we're at Skydive Temple. And
Oh, right. Hey,
before
that
it'd
is.
be like, what?
Yeah. I'm skydiving. Yeah. Now they're like, yo, I'm here with my brother. Boom, boom, boom. Instagram, pow. They got poses.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. It's the digital age, man.
It's a different world.
It is a different world. Where do you think this is going?
Oh, who knows?
With these tunnels and shit, with the new canopies, the gear, the sky hooks. I mean, where's it going?
My big hope is that we see a lot more integration between the free fly world, the angle world, and the belly fly world.
Right.
Because up till now, we've had fairly substantial walls between the communities, right? Like
Right.
the number of people who are really good at belly flying and really good at free flying is, what, 20, 25 on, you know, if you talk about 100 weight plus qualified, like that's a low number of people. But
Right.
I think to grow our sport, we need to aim toward getting more people to that, where you could go do a 100 weight free fly and
Belly.
belly.
Well, that's what I'm working on.
Right.
And I fucking love it.
And it's really hard to integrate the two skill sets together, but it's one of those things. It's a road we're going to have to walk at some point.
Right.
If we keep diverging farther and farther apart, then you create more cliques in the sport, less family
More walls,
unity, more
right.
walls, right? And
But it's such a specialized thing, man. Like, to be really good at big ways, all you can fucking do is big ways. If you want to be badass at 4-way, you got to fly 4-way over and over. You want to free fly or angle dive, it takes hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of skydives to get this shit. So it's kind of hard to be that well-rounded. It takes a decade.
yeah, it's called dedication.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it takes. Fucking A. So we got a Sammy freak out somewhere out there in the universe.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so we normally do Friday freakouts. We might still do a Friday freakout, but we're about to do a real life freakout,
It's, son.
son.
From the deep in the vaults of, I'm not going to tell you where this was.
Right, where and when have been hidden to protect the
It was
names.
more than a year ago. All you people at the USPA.
It was more than
It was probably a decade
ago, yeah.
You could tell from the PC 101 it was filmed on.
Oh, PC 101.
Yeah, it was old school.
I had a PC 9. Is that right? It was big and heavy as fuck. I got a video in my kid's room of me shooting video in industrial haze, but you can see a big ass metal bracket on the side of my helmet, and it's giant. Well, the cameras are still big, but this thing is like a brick on the side of my head. I thought I was the shit with that thing, dog.
Look how small it is.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
With this big old lens. Like,
I got the super wide angle 900-degree lens.
And I'm like 20 feet back.
You could see the whole sky through it.
Hey, dude, I'm in the worst sit fly position ever, and I thought I was killing it on this tandem. Like, I'm sit flying with a tandem.
The first camera setup I flew was a ProTech helmet with a big-ass metal squid-looking mount on the top of it, and then, like, a big JVC mini DV camera on top of that. Like, it was
a ProTech?
Yeah, it was a ProTech with a metal mount screwed to the top of the ProTech. That used to be, like, the beginner video kit in the back of Parachutist magazine.
For a ProTech?
Yeah.
Did it come with a chin cup?
It had like a football style.
Okay, good. It had to have something.
Yeah.
Because if not, that thing's going to move.
And, yeah.
I hate chin cups, but they make the video better.
Chin cups and an eyepiece.
Okay.
All right.
Eyepiece. Fucking snag piece.
I've got, I don't know, 1,000 jumps or so with the eyepiece and never had any problems.
Did you really need it?
It helps a lot.
It does?
Yeah. I believe so. I mean, if you look out at the pros, at the big dogs in the video world, everybody wears one.
I don't want to speak on that. I was told it was just a crutch, man. Just fucking lay there and look at them.
Well, it's like you don't go shoot a gun without a sight, right? You don't shoot artillery without a sight.
Well, with these wide-angle lenses, man, if you're in the shot, you're in the shot.
Right, but if you're shit centered through the whole thing, the whole time,
I'll give you that.
It does create a better visual.
I'll give you that.
As opposed to the
right.
You know?
Yeah.
And stabilization, and then modern cameras has come a long way with that, so you don't get it as bad, right? It looks a little cleaner,
right?
But good framing is good framing.
Right on.
And it can be the difference between did that weird little thing that I caught out of the corner of my eye get on video or not, as opposed to I know I'm looking at what I'm trying to record.
So what I was taught was fly up to the student, find yourself in the reflection, go down 1.5 feet and stay there. Right? As long as you can see yourself, you're going to get the shot.
Right. As long as there's a mirror and the lighting conditions are right and she's not spinning wildly out of control.
Right.
You'll be in the right place.
Right. Fucking A. So we started talking about the no speed limit event. That was 40 ways?
40 ways, yeah.
40 ways.
Yeah, it's 2 planes, full up, everybody go.
And you've been in sequentials?
Yeah, those are all usually multi-points. I think the most we've done was 3 or 4 point 40 ways, which is pretty spectacular.
Fucking pretty good.
Yeah.
Yo, these things start waving like a sheet when you're like making your bed and you flip the sheet. Yo, a big wave will wave, man. And if you're flying up to something like that and it's moving, it's fucking intimidating.
Yeah, it can be. You never know if it's gonna reach over and kick you at some point. And I've had, or at least it looks like it. You're sitting there next to the formation waiting for it to build so you can dock, and then you just see this whole 35-person mob like, hey, it's moving. It's coming right for us.
It's coming right for us. It's coming right for us.
Back up now, back up.
If not, is there a Friday freakout we could maybe what? Nope. Oh, internet's down in the studio, guys. Not a surprise. Right on. So, we're in the east side of deep downtown Austin right now.
Deep in
the
east side.
The east side, the hood, baby. The hood, baby. I love it around here. So, you've been here before?
Once, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah. So, Tom Jones used to film in this same studio, and you came here to see a show.
Alex Jones.
Yeah,
Tom
Jones. I
don't think he was ever here. Was
all right, okay. Yeah. Alex Jones, Infowars.com.
For those old school Austinites, back in the day, the Last of Us locals, I guess early to mid 90s, Alex Jones was on cable access TV, and this was the studio that he shot out of. So like you would turn cable access on late at night and there'd be Alex Jones with just a mic and a table, preaching the good word on the airwaves.
That's crazy.
So one night, we were imbibing and we decided, let's go see that dude. Right. So one of my buddies knew where this place was and we're like, all right, so we all pile in the car in the middle of the night and head on down to the east side to go see Alex Jones. And at the time, he had no following. Nobody knew who he was. It was just the crazy dude who got on the TV in the middle of the night and would take you would call and say whatever you want, and he would just go, yeah, next.
Right.
Yeah, next. Oh, you got a conspiracy to talk about? All right, let's do this.
Right. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, so like I said, we're in the hood. Something happened to your friends outside.
Oh, yeah, man. So I'm down here, and we're hanging out watching Alex Jones, and my buddies are like, well, we got to go do that thing. I'm like, all right, well, go do your thing. I'll be here.
Right.
Come back when you're done. So like 20, 25 minutes goes by. I'm watching this dude take weird phone calls on the what used to be the internet, let's call it. That was cable access TV back in the day. Was the
Were you guys in the big studio right over here? Sick.
He just had like a real simple, like 2 seats and a table set up in front of him. And then like half an hour goes by and my buddies show back up and they're both just like wide-eyed, like, dude, we gotta go. What's the matter? Like, no, dude, we gotta go. Like, all right, let's go. So we get out in the car and I'm trying to drag the story out of them. Like, what happened, man? And they're like, well, we tried to do something. It didn't work out so well. Like, well, you give me some details. Just what's happening? And they're like, well, we might have been trying to buy a nickel bag off this guy on the corner a couple blocks down. Right. Like, all right, you might have. Like, yeah, but it didn't work out like that. Like, yeah. And like, so we walk up to the guy. We tell him we want a 5. And so he looks around real cautiously and like spits something out in his hand, grabs the guy's money, drops something, and just takes off running. So the guys walk back and they look, and he had sold them a pebble for $5.
They got that crack rock
on the side of the street in downtown Austin.
Oh, I love this area. All right, I think we got a video. All right, this is a Sammy freak out. Why don't you set the stage for this?
So this was doing a level 4 out of a 182, right? So these can be shorter skydives, like you said. You're going from 11.5. Some buddies of mine sit flying.
So level 4 is the 90s, 180s, 90s. Right, so release dive and they got to do
release
90s.
Dive and turns.
Yeah.
Usually 90s, 180s if they're doing good.
Right on. And this is before tunnels.
Way before tunnels, yeah. Or at least before there was one in this area.
Right. Check in, forward, down, up, go.
And away we fly.
And away we fly.
Now, this is a student I jumped with on his level 3. And even in a baggy jumpsuit, I was kind of on the edge of my flying ability. Not ability, but speed range. So you can see how flat he is.
Yeah, he's flat and he's stiff. So he's going slow.
So you can see me here starting to like, oh man. Oh crap, he's going slow. So I'm all cupped out, trying to get as much as I can.
Look at them legs.
I'm like, all right, he's turning, but he's not.
All right, that wasn't bad.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. And then here comes pull time.
Oh, shit. Get in there, Sammy.
Let's just turning this into a goat roping.
No. Oh, no. No.
So that pause right there that you can't see on video, I'm doing the AFF instructor. Pull!
Fucker. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, good God.
And he looks me right in the eyes.
Freestyle. Look, my kids do that.
I'm giving him the pull signal, looking at him eyeball to eyeball, like, listen, man, you got one chance at this.
Holy
you should really pull.
Where you at, 2,000?
The
2 out. Boom. Holy fuck.
The best I can tell from the video and debriefing it was he pulled at about 1,200 feet.
Oh, my God. Listen. Hey, listen, if you are in...
and I pulled a little bit below that.
Learn to skydiveaustin.com. I'm not chasing you down there, motherfucker. We did this shit in the tunnel. You better pull, son. I'm tracking away at 4. I'm not playing with that shit. Hey, let's run that back, man, please. Good God.
Yeah, that was a little exciting.
Holy shit. That totally overdoes my worst AFF experience. Not worst because it turned out glorious, but that was fucking crazy. Man, before tunnels. That's why I don't jump with anybody that doesn't have tunnel time. You're not
then,
my
man,
student
you just had
you got
to get
20
on the
minutes,
horse
son.
and ride, man. There wasn't a whole lot of other options.
So as you guys see, his arms and his elbows are all dug in, right? So that's making him floaty and he's stiff, right?
Really stiff. No
his
arch
legs
from
are
the
loose.
pelvis.
No arch from the pelvis, which means his hips should be down. But it's not so bad. If he just straightened his legs a little bit and loosened up his arms, he'd be fine. Altitude check. I mean, he's a heads-up dude. It's just his pull time scares the shit out of him. His head goes low because he's not pushing his left arm out to compensate, and then it's bad. Once you get scared at pull time and shit's going wrong, fuck. Oh, my God.
Tension escalates.
Here we go. Knees are low. He's knee flying. Here we go. Flip twist. Throw it. Ugh.
Just pull, man. Just pull.
Why are you down there? You just care too much.
Yeah.
I don't care that much, man.
You can see I didn't look at my altimeter until right before he pulled, where I'm, at that point, I'm already seeing the ground in my peripheral vision coming up like, oh, dude, how low are we? And when I look on the video,
let it play for a sec.
It's roughly 1,500 feet. And then by the time I pull, I'm guessing between 1,250 and 1,150 when I let go of my pilot chute. And then my Cypress fires, so it's set at
Oh my
750.
God.
So I was probably still sniveling at 750 feet when it popped the reserve.
Oh my God. Hey, so what? He dumped.
Yeah, he pulled.
All right.
Otherwise, we'd have both just went into Cypress fire.
Right. So here we go, guys. You've been in class. You've talked about this. You've seen videos. You've seen pictures. You've now got 2 out. Okay, I teach that you either didn't do a gear check or you pulled low, because that's what fucking caused it.
Yeah.
All right, so now you're 2 out. What are you thinking right now? Just take it straight in.
Well, you got jumping a 9-cell elliptical,
yeah, you got
and
Texas
a reserve. So you'll see in the video the canopies keep swishing back and forth past each other.
Yeah. Oh, that's fucked. Did you flare?
I flared with the rear risers.
Okay.
Just barely.
With the reserve.
Yeah. I was mainly just like, you know what? I'm just going to take this hit and try to miss that fence.
I would take this hit, try to. Oh my God!
Yeah, I couldn't really steer. I was more concerned with keeping both the canopies above my head because
you don't want. Yeah, I saw them oscillating.
Game, yeah. So you got the
when you're that low
controls on each side.
Did you ever think about chopping the main at any point?
Not at that low.
Right. Yeah, you're under $1,000.
Yeah, it's not a good
idea. Jesus Christ! You can
see
see the eyeballs of the cows at that point.
Right. I've seen too many videos of people doing that and getting their main snagged in the reserve and causing an unrecoverable malfunction too low to survive. So if you got all that altitude, you're still at 2,500, you got 2 out, make the decision, make your move. But if you're under $1,000 and you did something stupid like chase a student,
right,
work with what you got and get it to the ground safely, because more parachute is going to be better than less parachute. Man,
that's why I designed the program the way I did, man. Like, when you fly with me in the tunnel, we're training on Learn to Skydive Austin, you have the dummy rig on, you're going to do 50, 60 pull sequences, and you're going to stick your hand inside the BOC and show me that you're capable of finding it and then going. What happens is it's go time.
Oh, yeah.
You want to live. You might not find it. You're not confident you're going to find it. You freak out. Your knees go low. You're twisting your body closer to your hand. Anything to get this parachute out, and now you're tumbling through the sky doing flip twists on your back.
Just making it worse.
Happens that fast, man. So I'm not jumping with you unless you got tunnel time, son. Tunnel time with me. No shit, man. Holy shit. So my AFF experience, like, I got a few hundred ever, but there was one where, we do the ride-throughs, right? We're real good we're at Skydive Airtight. He's real strict on that. And it's good reason. I was with this guy, normal skydive, wave, reach backs, throws, but he had just been taken off the ripcord program. So he holds the pilot chute. So I assist, and I see he grabs it. And he's going for the throw, so I go to turn the track away, but I'm still holding for the ride through, but I'm ready to go. It's done. You know, I'm just waiting to, like, do something cool with my buddy and go, and he's still holding it. So I go, I come back, and I slap it out of his hand, and when I do that, I have a lot of momentum, and I go over his back. As the rig comes out, hits me in my chest, rolls me to my back, I fall off of him. He deploys fine. I drop down to 12. Right? Because, we're dumping at 5,000. He throws 4,500, 4,000. He still got it. I come back in, hit, 3,000, 3,500, 3,000, 2,500, flip over on my back, 1,200, roll over, dump. Velocity 96, over a neighborhood.
Yikes.
Neighborhood, streets, power lines, dude, the drop zone's a half mile that way. I'm just like, oh, fuck you, man. Right? I see a median with no lights and no power lines, and I'm like, I've got to bring this motherfucker straight in, dog. I don't know if it's going to do that because I've always hooked it because it's velo. I turn that bastard around, bring in half brakes, dog, stood it up like oh my God, like this is the greatest parachute that's ever been invented. And I just proved it to myself because I was in a bad situation.
Landing in nowhere.
No, man. And it could have been bad, but that motherfucker set me down. I've been a fan ever since. I don't want to jump anything else. I always say if I had $1 billion, I'd just buy a brand new Velo 96.
Every time.
Yeah, every time. I know those Valks are out. We're not going to get in this conversation. Leia's and shit.
Yeah, I've never made the jump to the cross brace world.
Really?
No, I still fly a 9-cell elliptical.
Oh, man, you're tripping.
Well, when you get in with 40 to 78 people, you really don't want something that's going to outdrive
everybody else. I understand that.
And take, extra time to open.
There's something about that cross brace that feels safer. It feels
I've heard that a lot.
safer. Dude,
Yeah.
I jump that other shit. It feels like you got a waterbed above you. It's like, oh.
That's what I'm used to.
Yeah, I don't like that waterbed shit, man. I want to wing. I'm fucking Top Gun, baby.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I need it rigid.
Rigid. All right, man. Flight nights.
Flight night.
I like your perspective on this. We've been doing it for 93 events.
Yeah, we're pushing 100 now.
Pushing 100. You've been there most of the time.
I've been as
and
many as
every
you could.
fucking one of them, I think. You came in pretty experienced. You got way better, and now you're one of my mentors. I'm like, who's new? Sammy.
Right.
You with Sam tonight, right? It was
Yeah.
like you, Mark Farr, Jeff Gowie are my go-tos. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything like that, but what has it done for local skydiving?
Oh, man. Flight nights is one of those things that it's hard to overstate how much good it's capable of and already how much good it's done. Right? We've been plugging along for 2 years roughly now.
Yeah, a little bit more.
And you can see the level of drills we're doing is increasing, right? Because
Right.
it used to be Wazzy Block was like, oh man,
Oh
we're gonna
shit,
kill
Wazzy
14
Block.
people
Right.
tonight. But now, we can go in there. People are verbal hopping. They're turning points. They're learning, the fundamental four-way stuff that you need to know.
And they're
before.
taking it to the sky. So
Right.
they're leaving flight nights and flying these same fucking blocks.
Right.
Super dope.
You got people like Jeff, and man, the distance Jeff has come, and the time that we've been doing flight nights is probably the best testament to the event there is, because that dude
Yep.
shows up every time.
Jeff's part.
He
He's a
flies-
staple.
Yeah,
He's a
At the
staple.
beginning, he was learning, and now he's to the point where he's learning and teaching at the same time.
Yep.
And that's, I think, where we get the greatest benefit is, yeah, we're learning at the beginning. That's all we're going to do. But at the same time, there's nothing that's going to teach you a skill better than teaching that skill to someone else.
Right.
Because now you have to know the intricacies of it in order to pass it along to the next person. And you don't have to be the greatest skydiver in the world to help somebody clean up their knee turns, or
Right.
to give them, a perspective they may not have heard on arching, the muscle groups, or the way that you think about it versus the way that they've been told in the past. This is information that's not necessarily easy to transfer from person to person, and sometimes it takes somebody with a completely different perspective on the game in order to get that message across to a new person.
Right. And everybody learns differently.
Right.
And, it takes a village.
Right.
Right?
It
to-
does, especially in
yeah.
skydiving, because not everybody, you have personality differences and stuff like that, and not
Right.
everybody can learn from everybody.
Right.
Some people learn from specific people way faster than they will from other people, and it's, that's kind of the awesomeness of it.
It is. And there's a lot of perspectives and a lot of skill levels. So we're seeing little snippets of some things we do. There's
Our
like
adventures.
the neon nights. So these guys made dope jumpsuits with the LEDs in them and sprayed like fucking the spray. What is that?
We
spray?
tried everything.
We tried everything.
UV
Black
reflectant,
lights, smoke,
EL light.
lasers, man. Like they gave us free reign to make this shit awesome, and we did. We got rings and hoops. Are the rings in this one?
Yeah.
At the
toward
end, yeah. Flight nights, baby.
This
I know
one
the
even
video
has
sucks, guys.
The
Just
massive, crazy
yeah,
rings.
bring it. So look, it's choppy. I'm sorry, guys, but it's worth watching. Yeah, man. I come from a place where the drop zones didn't like each other. There was beef. There's old school beef between AFF instructors or something in Oklahoma, where you're not allowed to associate with them. Don't associate with them.
Right.
And I hated that.
Yeah.
Because I was friends with the owner of the other place, but I worked for this guy that didn't like them, and then my friends had this other place. I was like, man, I can't do this shit.
Right.
Like, I love skydiving. And in Cali, they would have a yearly dinner where all the local drop zones in Northern Cali would come together. They wear tuxes and shit, and they'd watch videos at a
nice.
theater, and it was a big deal. And I remember hearing about that, and I was like, I've always wanted that
Yeah.
for us, for me. I always wanted all my friends to be together, because you go to one drop zone, you love everybody.
Mhm.
And other people at the other drop zone would love this guy.
Right.
They'll never go.
Yeah.
Right? So at the tunnel, I saw an opportunity to bring all 4 or 5 local DZs together. Right? 4 of us, right? There's what? Temple, Lexington, San Marcos, who am I forgetting? Spaceland. Is that the 4?
Lonestar.
Lonestar now. That's 5 now. So let's take out Houston because they got Memorial. So we got the 4 locals. And I wanted to bring it together and have a place where everybody to mix and mingle, and they have.
Right.
And instead of staying at their one drop zone, everybody has started jumping everywhere.
It's caused a lot more travel for sure in the local community.
And people know each other now.
Right.
Right? It's fucking dope. It's fucking dope. And I thank you, iFly, for giving us that platform because they've supported me a lot. They let us do whatever we want. We hang out. We go to the bar afterwards. Shout out to Third Base North, man. They give us the back room just because they put our videos up on the screens. We drink beer. We debrief. We like you fucking asshole. Look at that shit, right? Yeah, all the crashes. We're cheering and shit. And like the locals are watching our videos. They're coming in asking questions and hanging out. It's a good time. I will be doing one this week, but I didn't do it. It'll be next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing better. There's no better way to increase your skill than slow, incremental, steady learning. Right? You're not gonna go out and overnight learn how to fly head down. You're not gonna go out and overnight learn how to fly 4-way. You need to dedicate yourself. Pick a discipline that you really like and think about it like, all right, where can I be in a year from now if I put my mind to it and I show up at flight nights every week? And that small incremental change over time, you'll see yourself like, oh crap, I was just on a 20-way. Oh crap, I was just on a 40-way. Oh crap, I was just on a 78-way.
Right.
And before you'll know it, it's like me, I show up and I'm like, how in the fuck did I get here?
Yeah.
You know, I was just sucking wind at the tunnel doing 4-way. What was it? Oh shit, that was 2 years ago.
Right.
Okay. You know, maybe
I put the time in.
Total, you got to keep grinding and grinding and grinding if you want to get there.
Yeah, perfect example of that is in the tunnel, especially around the talent that I'm surrounded by. You always suck.
Right.
It doesn't matter how fucking good you think you are. Danny Cordito comes in and does some crazy shit. You're like, I fucking quit.
Just gonna smack
Drew Steele
down on the floor.
You know, my kid's coach, Drew Steele. Shout out Drew Steele. Drew Steele gets in the plane. He gets to the tunnel and it's like, why am I even here?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is pointless. So but people watch you. They'll see you. Like they'll come fly this one time and you're doing your demo, and then they don't see you for 2 or 3 years.
Right.
And they see you again, they're like, holy fucking shit. You're like, no, I still suck, bro. I still can't do what he's doing. But that's not the point. Like, if you're putting in the small incremental work, you're getting better even though you don't realize it.
Right.
And a lot of times we don't realize how good we're getting because we're always pushing the next level.
Yep.
Like, if you're always reaching for the next perfection or you're trying to get this better, it feels like you suck because you don't get it. And when you get it, if you move on, you're never going to feel comfortable that you're awesome because you're always pushing yourself, even though you've accomplished all those things. And I like the humility of that new learning, right? If as long as you're learning, you're never going to get too cocky because you're like, oh, I don't got it. As soon as you stop and you just like focus on what you got, and I'm the best at this, and then you become an asshole. But as long as you feel like the first timer once in a while, you can appreciate the experience.
And I think that's kind of where being a multi-discipline skydiver comes in handy. Because you may be a badass free flyer, but then you go do a 4-way and get showed up by some 400 jump kid.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and that just pushes that drive a little bit harder. Like, all right, maybe I need to work on my belly a little bit. And, you know, you sharpen that side of the sword a little bit. Then you go back and you do some more free fly with your buds. And, you know, you just keep working both sides, you know, pushing yourself farther and farther. And the bigger the chunk of the community that you can learn from, the more potential you have to learn. So if you isolate yourself and, oh, I'm only going to do wingsuits, well, then you're now limited to the wingsuit community's knowledge, even though the skydiving community has an insane amount of knowledge that might help you in your wingsuiting. But if you only wingsuit, you're never going to get to touch any of that knowledge outside of your own little specific clique.
Right. And if you don't travel to other drop zones, you're missing out on a lot, man.
Huge.
You can't stay isolated. Just because your place has otters and cold beer doesn't mean that other places don't.
Right.
Shit, Mark has a keg of Shiner on the deck and a fucking gun shop, man. It's called Shoot and Shoot. So you can go skydive and go buy some fucking 5.56, baby.
Right.
Texas style.
That's how we roll.
That's how we roll. Right on. So, Sam, man, very accomplished. You've done a lot. You're a gold medalist in 20 ways. You're one of my mentors. Somebody wants to do this. They just did their first fucking tandem, right? What advice would you give them? What advice would you give young Sam? Well, you did it though. What about somebody that's reluctant?
In order to get to let's say this level, I don't know what this level is, but let's use it as an example. The dedication is going to be the biggest thing, right? If you don't have the dedication to get up in the shitty weather and drive to the drop zone just in the hope of getting a jump, right? Reconsider, or push yourself to be that dedicated. Because it's like anything, like with, teaching myself to knit, right? I had a goal, which was to be able to knit something, but I'm sitting here with absolutely zero knowledge or information. So the first thing to do is get that knowledge and then put it to use. And the only way to do that is to get into the community, to get that knowledge and then put it to use. Right? You're not going to get the drive that it takes to show up every weekend if you're not a part of the community at the drop zone, right? If you're not a part of that tunnel community, that instead of thinking, oh man, I'm going to go do 360s tonight and just do 4-way, you're thinking, all right, I'm going to go see all my buddies. We're going to have some good conversation. I'm going to hear some cool skydiving stories, and we're going to work on 360s tonight.
Right.
That's a much more palatable pill to take while you're grinding that sword than just, I'm going to go do 20 minutes of head down time. And, and that's it. It's good skill, but it doesn't come with the same longevity factor as mixing the community in with the skill. Yeah.
And tunnel time's cheaper if you split it.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's why 4-way kicks ass.
Yeah. Sam King, everybody. Man, that was a great show, son. Right on, Sammy.
Thanks for having me.
No doubt, man. Where can people find you? Find videos or anything?
I'm on Facebook. I have a Vimeo page, SkyGeek76 on Vimeo. There's some funny stuff up there. There's some cool stuff up there. It's my personal small collection of stupid crap.
Right on, man. Right on. So, awesome story, son. Hey, if you haven't yet, like and subscribe. WazzyCircus Radio. Keep your head on a swivel and hook that shit, son. Learn to skydive. It'll change your life. It saved mine. Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, let's go.